All right, let's get into it. Today, we're diving into two absolutely bizarre scandals that blew up around the Dallas Cowboys. And what they show us is a kind of modern playbook for how fame, anger, and social media all collide, especially when you play for America's team.
Okay, I know what you're thinking. This sounds like the setup to a really weird joke, right? But trust me, these two nicknames are anything but funny. They actually represent this crazy intersection of celebrity, sex, and social media that would go on to define two NFL careers.
I mean, just on their own, they're completely absurd. Spray tan sounds like a character from some forgotten reality TV show. And Zilla? Well, you can kind of guess where that one's going. So you have to ask, how in the world did these names become national headlines?
Well, that's because they weren't just random internet slang. No, they were the viral tags, the calling cards for two separate, very public, and very high-stakes accusations against two different star players for the Dallas Cowboys.
Now, before we get into the details, you have to understand something about the Dallas Cowboys. They're not just a football team. They're a massive national brand. And that star on the helmet, it's like a giant magnifying glass on everything a player does, on the field, and especially off it. Yeah, this whole environment is a total pressure cooker. A private problem that might just be a small local story for a player on another team. Well, when it involves a Cowboy, it instantly becomes front-page news across the country. And that insane level of scrutiny, that's the backdrop for everything we're about to talk about. So let's open our first case file. This one is all about a nasty, alleged betrayal between two former college teammates. It's a drama that started in private, but it was litigated, really prosecuted, very publicly on social media for the entire world to watch unfold. Okay, so you've got three main characters in this storm. First, DeMarco Murray. He's the superstar running back for Dallas, basically on top of the world. Then you have Brendan Clay, who was his teammate back in college, but his own NFL career was kind of fizzling out. And the person connecting them? Gina D'Agostini, who had only been married to Clay for 4 months. Now, Clay didn't call a lawyer, he didn't leak it to a reporter, he went straight to Twitter and launched this just incredibly effective public campaign. On November 30th, boom, he makes the accusation. A few days later, he drops what he calls the evidence. And then, just as fast as it started, less than a month later, he takes it all back.
And this right here, this was the bombshell. Clay posted a screenshot of a text message allegedly from Murray to his wife, and the timing was just brutal. Supposedly sent right after Clay left town for a tryout with another team. It was graphic, it was specific, and it was absolutely designed to do maximum damage.
And here it is. This is exactly where the scandal got that infamous nickname. The screenshot showed the sender was saved in the phone as Spray Tan. And just to make sure everyone knew who he was talking about, Clay then posted another screenshot showing the number had a Las Vegas area code, which of course is DeMarco Murray's hometown. That nickname, it stuck immediately. So while this whole trial by Twitter was blowing up, what did DeMarco Murray and his team do? Absolutely nothing. They said not one word. They refused to engage at all, basically starving this story of any new oxygen. While Clay was tweeting up a storm, Murray was busy on the field breaking franchise records. Okay, so fast forward about a year. We've got another Cowboy and another truly bizarre social media scandal. But this one was totally different. This wasn't about a broken heart or emotional betrayal. Nope. This one was all business. A transaction involving a rookie lineman named La'el Collins and an escort with a name you will not forget. So, Collins' NFL career already had this cloud over it. He was supposed to be a top first-round draft pick, but just days before the draft, police wanted to question him in a murder investigation. Now, to be clear, he was never a suspect, but the timing was just awful. He went undrafted. The Cowboys picked him up, but he was already a guy under microscope. So the allegation comes from a Dallas-area escort who used the name Zilla. She went on Twitter and claimed that Collins had hired her for specific services. And then, when it was over, he refused to pay her what they'd agreed on. And the amount of money at the center of this public scandal that could have derailed his entire career? $400. That's it. She claims that when it came time to pay, Collins told her he thought her saying she would take you out to eat meant, an actual meal, not the payment. The sheer absurdity of it is what made this story go absolutely viral.
But here's the thing. This wasn't just some angry person ranting online. This was a calculated move. Zilla didn't just tweet at Collins, she went straight for his agent, Derek Gilmore, and publicly tweeted this demand. She was basically weaponizing public shame as a kind of digital debt collection. She knew that the hit to his reputation was way more expensive than the $400 she wanted. So when you take these two stories, which seem totally different, and you put them side by side, a really clear pattern starts to show up. It's almost like a playbook for how these things go down in the modern age of celebrity athletes and social media.
I mean, just look at the comparison here. The accusers were different, sure. One's a former teammate, one's an escort, and the motives were different. One wanted revenge, the other wanted to get paid. But the weapon? Identical. A targeted public campaign on Twitter. And even crazier, the defense was exactly the same. Complete and total silence.
This really breaks down the two ways they used the same weapon. For Brennan Clay, it was pure public theater. His whole goal was to trash a reputation and get people on his side by telling the story of betrayal. But for Zilla, it was a business decision. She wanted her money, and torching his reputation was just the leverage she needed to get it.
So what's the end result of all this? When you have these huge viral dramas play out online, what's the lasting impact? Well, it turns out that regardless of who was telling the truth, the consequences for the players involved were permanent. And this is the great paradox of their strategy. By staying quiet, both Murray and Collins absolutely saved their careers in the short term. They didn't get into a messy public fight. But by doing that, they gave up the entire narrative. The accusers' stories are the only ones left out there online. They're totally unchallenged, and now they're forever linked to their names with a quick Google search. And that really leaves us with a huge question for the world we live in now, right? When any accusation can be turned into a viral sensation with just a few clicks, and the smartest defense is often to say nothing at all, what actually happens to the truth? Does it just get buried in all the noise? Or maybe, just maybe, was it ever even the point to begin with?